normal or alarming?
Well, thanks for the question, whether it's normal or alarming. A lot of things are not in the right space. And when you talk about psychiatry, it's science, and by that stroke, it has practices that it measures with. And as such, let me take it from a mild angle. Part of madness, corruption is madness in its own way. Because what does somebody want to do with 100 billion, stealing it? That's the level of madness. I'm only saying psychiatrists are taking it as a whole body of issue for the nation. That invariably, if you look at the report of the man, he said just about 10% of that is covered. So, like just 6 million. But the remaining 54 million have different levels of mental state. And in some instances, depression is part of psychiatric issue. And when it goes out of way, it gets into real mental state. Before it gets to those stages, all those ones are issues that require psychiatric attention. That's why you see couples in the home, a husband and a wife, and if you ask them what's the cause of your quarrel, she's pressing toothpaste from the bottom or from the middle. Instead of, so you just, are you people okay? But these are little things we don't look at. But if you tell a psychiatrist, we'll sit them down and tell them why they are reasoning that way. That look, you are switching off each other. So invariably, it's telling us what the scientific demography is. It's not talking about the mad people on the street. However, that figure too of real mad people is high. In a system where people have given up hope, they appear not to be taken care of. The snap point is thin between sanity and insanity. So the system is drawing people more into that side of life, which is not normal.
Sorry, Larry is trying to social mental illnesses. Larry just spoke about that. But you see, the doctor, Taiwo Obindo, is even saying real mental illnesses. And he say 10% are appropriately catered for in terms of taking care of the illnesses. Out of the 60 million, 10%, just 10% are appropriately taken care of.
Yeah, you see, what he has said is not far-fetched. Go on the streets today. Look at the way you met a mad person yesterday. Today you're on that same lane. You meet a new one. Things are turning out. You start wondering what is society becoming. Each day you find new mental problems on the road. Now there was a time we were saying this that because of the economic crisis, a lot of Nigerians are going to fall below poverty line. If you fall below poverty line, a lot of things can happen to you. Not by your own dictation. Not because you want it. Nobody wants madness. But it's just got that depression just comes in. And gradually, before you know it, it turns into mental illness. And begin to say all kinds of things that we never expected that you could even say. The family becomes alarmed. And to take care of a mental person now, it's a very difficult thing. So what you have said is just looking at the tip of the iceberg. Typically, if you go on the streets, you find people who are not supposed to be begging. You said it here last week. People are not supposed to be begging. You see them begging now. And by the time he begs the first day, the second day, the third day, he comes to a point, he starts feeling ashamed of himself that he's begging. He doesn't know what to do. Gradually, depression will come in again. And you see, mental illnesses, there are so many of our youth now that are taken to drugs. Drugs. If you look at the way they take drugs now, you can't but find a lot of mental illnesses on the streets. A lot of them, again, they want to make money, they go for ritual things. In the course of going ritual, some of them go mad. You've seen a lot of them. Some of them start barking like dogs. Some of them crawling like goats. So a lot of things that are happening in society now, because of our economic climate right now, you can't but find so many mad people on the streets.
Okay, Spolika, I'm back to you. Is it all about poverty? It's all about get rich quick? Is it all about that?
It's a potpourri of all, an admixture of all.
At times, for instance, they will say the myth. Once I've seen it, it's all about that. All this.
It's everything has come to play to make Nigerians insane. There's the poverty, which is very depraving. And poverty leads you to frustration. If you are not up and doing, that you can control yourself. There's the get rich mentality, which was it saying? Somebody was defining madness. I mean, in so many aspects of it. That's madness. There is the madness or insanity of people wanting to grab and grab and grab. That's one aspect of it. But the foundational and fundamental one is the one that government has brought on the people. If you take 30,000 naira a month and a bag of rice is 33,000 naira, a liter of fuel that you may use to power your apartment neighbor is 200 per liter, and it takes 30,000 naira as his take home. He doesn't want to steal. Will he not be made to steal? That's why I say government effort frustrates the man on the street. You can't do anything but to dogmacy, as we say it in Yoruba. Dogmacy is the mentality that you just must find a way out. He won't tell you he's going to steal. He won't tell you he's going to be corrupt. But he has to dogmacy. Find a way out. Cheat, as it were. So there are so many things that have led us to this far. And there are so insanity or mental illness is coming from different angles. You find frustration in the home. A married woman who is frustrated or a spouse frustrated, it can lead him into something else. A rich man who is also seemingly wanting to grab and continue to grab without necessarily finding himself, can't I give some of these things out? He wants to grab and grab and grab. Very much like the madman on the street. It is madness that urges him on to pick everything, bangolo, etc., etc. He cannot differentiate between what is right. So it is unfortunate. Government has its own. We individuals have our own because of our mentality to get rich and get rich, mentality to want to be like the Joneses singing their songs when you didn't rehearse the song with them, and so forth and so on. Academically, he wants to get to university, he cannot get. He gets there and the teachers are on strike. I tell you, if you can do a research on, you will find some of these students who might never return to campus because they're frustrated, they are disappointed, and then they ease themselves into drinking drugs, etc., etc. So, and it is there, the cycle is there. So every year you find a percentage seeping into or slipping into that range. Before you knew it, what's the percentage they give?
10%.
10%. We are glad it hasn't even gone beyond that.
10%. No, 10% can only assess
care. Only assess care.
Okay. Larry, somebody spoke about so many frustration. But see, economic crisis. But see, the belief, according to President Obino, is that even before the economic crisis, there are mental illnesses on the streets.
The rate of people sliding into mental illness is higher now, very much high. It is a level of mental illness that leads to suicide, that leads to even murder. Because for a man to wake up and kill another, you've seen stories of a man that said he could not cater for his family and he killed his wife, he killed the children. Just went and killed himself. Still remember to kill himself. So all these things, but whereas in healthcare delivery, majorly what the man was actually soliciting was for primary healthcare to capture mental illness as part of what it has to address. Because you want to treat somebody for mental illness in a medical facility, they'll be telling you of Arrow, they'll be telling you of Yaba House, because there are few places where you can access healthcare for them. Psychiatrists are required in saner places where they pay them better. So as we turn out and train psychiatrists here, they have a ready job where they appreciate them outside. So they go. And you and I, even when we have little domestic issues, the medical doctor would tell us to go for psychiatric evaluation. You and I, not that we are sick like that, we are okay, but maybe the way we relate at home socially looks strange. They'll tell you, look, you need to go for, I mean, you can't say, no, I don't want to. It's automatic. They'll just recommend and give you a slip. Take it to so and so person, he's a psychiatrist, let him talk to you. Dementia, okay, things were so good, and suddenly you are sliding down the ladder like that. At some point, you sit down alone, loneliness causes a lot of it, and your mind just goes back to those beautiful old days, and you switched to that time. That's why people, you see somebody talking in 2022 as if he's still remembering 28 years ago when things were still, it's coming back to him. And normal person, with a little evaluation and care, he gets out of it. Without, it leads into serious mental illness. And as such, the whole book goes back to the system administrators. That if you continue this way, we might be going down to meeting people who were with like 4 or 5 days before, and the next minute you meet that person is incoherent. It's unfortunate, and the easiest way is like those traditional healers will now say, since you can't go to Abeokuta right away, let's give this person a concoction that you don't know how it was mixed. And the moment that person enters that line, that's it. Because he has to be tied up and all the rest, and he's losing it. So I hope people can sit down and look at this holistically. Because if you don't look at it and you're now thinking of, okay, pediatricians are saying we are in more demand than psychiatrists, gynecologists are saying women need us more than, and you leave mental health care issues, they will always find their way out. Because abroad, you want to even take driver's license, you must have clearance that you are mentally sound. You want to do get a job somewhere, you must get a psychiatrist clear bill of health that you are good. So they are in high demand in those places, and over here we just believe we want psychiatry. Well, that's why they need that coming out that he is doing on behalf of that association, to let government know that they are also in high demand, especially now that the economic system, a lot of Nigerian youths are doing drugs now. Well, I mean, we were all joking about.
He has no food to eat.
Yeah, we're all joking about Olamide's song, science students. They are mixing things up. They want to get out of this. They don't want to dream. The nation has dropped their dreams on their laps. Forget about it. All this dreaming, future leaders of tomorrow. When is that tomorrow coming? They've been telling them they will be leaders of tomorrow for 40 years, and a man of 50 is unable to go anywhere. Where is that tomorrow?
You see the role of the social media, the other side of social media, you see it being part of the crisis in terms of mental illness.
Yeah, maybe part of the crisis. But I must tell you again that the social media has done a lot to even reduce mental illness in society. See,
this will be exposed.
Yes,
adversely.
There are some people in our society to do that. They have nowhere to go, like Larry was talking about loneliness. That could lead to another thing. They go to social media. They get themselves in social media from morning to night, just socializing. People they've not seen for years, they meet them on social media. That gives them a sense of belonging somehow. And then through social media, they're able to tell of their problems to the world. Sometimes some of them are rescued. But some other ways again, some of them imbibe wrong social habits through social media again that will lead them to this kind of depression, and they slip gradually into mind-boggling mental illness. And because they are not able, some of them don't even voice it out. They just imbibe these things gradually, and then look at our society today. Every day you find a lot of new drugs coming to the society. There was one that was discovered about a week ago or so. And rampant in the north right now. The thing is slipping down south too. Every day you discover the aspirin I used to know in the past that people just use without any wahala. It has become a drug. People even go to the pit latrine. Sewages. To inhale. You can imagine the way we are turning into. Some of these are caused by social media because some people press some things and then they push out on social media. So others want to try too. But I must confess to you, social media has having a lot of ways to bring down mental illness in our society today. One of the things why you can grow older than you are, in terms of socializing, is to get across to old friends. If you have new old friends that you socialize with, that you talk with on social media, that you know where this person is. In fact, there are some people who are maybe your classmates, and they have gone high in life. And because you have not gone high, they just see you on social media. Ah, this is my friend. Blah blah blah. Where are you? So. How can I help you? They help. So that's why I believe the impact of the social media on this mental illness is far higher.
Sometimes in this state, the government move around to get some of these, I wouldn't call them miscreants, challenged, get them rehabilitated. For example, Bindo is saying the inability of many of these mentally challenged to have access to medical care. And he said, because 60% of Nigerians live in rural areas, he's now saying government must do more. In the rural country, said they move around, get them together, and through, just like he said, through interactions, they get healed. Not necessarily the medical thing.
Government will tell you it has no money, and of course it has no money. We all know, because the money has been squandered.
It's not about money.
No, because if there are responsibilities, they
social interactions.
What is the social interaction? There is no way you want to go and bring in mentally challenged people. You must not feed them. You must not do this. In the days of Tai Solarin, you remember, he will go of his own pocket. The nation was a little bit buoyant, and I know the state governments were doing it. They would just go and bring them. Today, they are biting more than they can chew. So they would not want to see that, at least those who are, although it's a menace for the society, but they keep a blind eye on that. Because with the cost, everything has a consequence. When you dabble into that, good. But what is in it for the man in government? They will close their eyes on that because it won't bring them much. The country is in dire straits. There's no money. And so the little they have, they want to, before they can think of sharing it amongst themselves, before they can do some other things, they will not be talking about mental illness. The man who is fit and as a fiddle is complaining. What about how much more or how much less the man on the street? The situation in the country, as I said a short while ago, everything, whether you do it or you don't do it, even you're not speaking, has a consequence. You're keeping silent when you must talk, has a consequence. Some of the consequences are the things that we see.
But is it not the will? I don't believe it's the money, really. The will. The will to want to do this thing. By you have just mentioned something else. People are looking for what will come into my pocket out of this. The will is really not there. Because the money is there.
You said, sir, look at the situation of the young man that took his certificate back to Lautech. One, he knows he could be arrested. Two, he knows he could be taken over by police and all. He did not care. When you draw people, and at the end of the day, the alumnus of the institution gave him 500,000. That person, look, you said you can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Go and start with this. It's one, the social media has rescued one person who came out to speak out. By speaking out, he did not care again. How can I pay so much to the school there? And the whole thing boils down back to the system. That why must you abandon us? All the hopes you gave people, you have scuttled it, and you don't expect them to react. And you see, at some point, like the Yoruba saying that there must be something to trigger it. And that's why they go back to drinking, to drugs, to cultism, and all the rest of it. And you are talking about, oh, society, we want to solve these problems. You are not addressing the needs of the people who are there. The moment, look, I was saying somewhere, the president of Rwanda called in the young ladies. They said, you are ladies called, or like they call them runs girls here. And it's because you went to school, you couldn't get jobs and all. Come, we take you to a center, we train you, we equip you, we pay you. When you are stabilized, then allow you to. So other people fly there because the girls are cheap. Found out the girls are not doing that again. You must provide a way out before they listen to you. But if you don't talk to them and tell them the alternative way, it's painful. Some youths are saying, look, we have moved on. I'm doing your Okada now. University undergraduates. That's, look, now I take home like 5,000. I've added value to my Okada. I go to places where they sell food. The people who book from them, I drive to them, I collect good pay, bringing food to, and so they're like, so what am I schooling for? Why must we destroy these young people and expect them to respect us? It's unfortunate, because like, to a lot of people, by the time you are assessing, these people are saying we are moving on, but they are moving in a wrong direction. Because where they thought you were taking them, the nation was not taking them again. So it's good this man is coming out now, because the rate of that growth is rampant now. Stages of addiction. First one is use. You encounter somebody who has used it before, who is introducing it. That stage is use. Then the next stage is indulgence. That, okay, I used it before, let me try and indulge myself. Before you get to the stage where it finally becomes an addiction. Abuse. You use, you indulge, you abuse, then you are addicted. So before going through all those stages, the people, the psychiatrists ought to have been called in at some point to bridge it, so it doesn't go to the next level.
We spoke of frustration as well, spoke of poverty. But sometimes in this country, you have seen children of where
what to do?
They are in high figures, but now,
generals,
sir,
engaging in cultism, engaging in social maladies.
but the majority of them now fall into the category of that 10% of the 60 million.
Because
They
they
get care.
Yeah.
The parents can pay for care.
That's
They can take them abroad to get them treated. They have a lot of them under their roofs. Out of indulgence. They go to club, they do drugs, they come back home, the parents are like, oh, my son is doing it, but my daughter is hitting it, because they have enough extra funds to roll with. But at the end of the day, when the crisis comes, secretly they package them and take them out for treatment. But the children they sniff glue.
Yeah, glue.
A lot in the north.
Glue, yeah.
Poor people. Glue. They sniff glue, they gutter. They lie in the gutter and sniff. So it's not about going to buy these things. It's strange.
Maybe I should just say this. These rich or spoiled kids that we're talking about, they go into these things out of venturing into something new. Adventure. Peer group. Okay? They just want to find out. They have been doing. Look at those kids that went to Dubai the other time and went to this sex. See, they have been seeing certain things in society, and you know, children act what they see, and so now they want to see. Okay, let me try this thing out, and this is how it looks. We see a lot of kids now on the streets now taking drugs, hard drugs, right in the open. Nobody to challenge them, right in the open. And some other kids will pass by and see them doing it. What are these people doing there? Gradually, they want to find out what they're doing. So, out of adventure, a lot of them slip into it. And these rich kids too, they've seen this, they've seen that, they've gone abroad, they've seen a lot of things. They just want to have something new. They want to venture into. And so by trying this, look at tramadol. When I was in the hospital for 3 months in OUTC, tramadol was prescribed for me as a drug for pain relief. So when I now heard that tramadol is being used as drugs, sort of psychotropic drugs, I started wondering, tramadol? And so this is abuse, pure abuse. And so these people, these rich men who do it too, they do it out of adventure too. Let me try this out. They've seen a lot of things. You have a lot of money that you don't even work for. That's lying there for you. What do I do with this money? Let me just try this out. Let me try this out. And gradually they slip to this. But those people, it's 10% we are talking about, are those people who have the connection to be able to get treated, that can couple. There are so many of them who don't even have money. When you talk about them going to the hospital, they tell you they don't have the money to go to take this child to. They have not even tried it. Because they cannot do it. And there are so many other hospitals here. Even the Shobo here, I know one hospital, who treats psycho patients. Private hospital. But ask how much will the patient pay to go into that hospital? Do you have the money? No.
I want to last take. These are the accusation by the president of the Secretary Association of Nigeria said they accused the other countries of poaching. They poach.
You see, when you talk of accusing developing countries or accusing whatever, if it's underdevelopment, you see, international politics is a question of your interest. They have a very good medical service. They may not have enough men. The responsibility of every government is to take care of its citizens first and foremost. And that's why what we lack here. The man in UK, in US, in Germany, he wants
the best for the citizen.
The best, yes. The opposite is the case.
And so they will go all out.
Yes. That is no crime. You are looking for the best for your people. When time was when we were looking for best teachers for our students, we got them, but we squandered that goodness. Pakistanis were coming here, Ghanaians were coming here, Indians were coming here. They were teaching our children. They were getting it right.
Canadians.
In the higher institute, you find them being taught by Professor Samu Gadas. He came all the way from Pakistan in UA. Of course, our own lecturers also were going outside. It wasn't as if we were so terrible. Our own men were also good. But today, they come to lure them in for better pay. If you are taking 100,000 and somebody says, I will give you, is it $50? I don't even know the exchange rate now. Or if he pays you
$200. Even $100.
Yes. So this is the problem that we face. $100 will now fetch you about $600-700. How many graduates take 700 in a month? I'm asking you. We are no longer in service. But how many take? No, so that is the problem. A young boy who has just come and he says, look at when Russia started attacking, you find able-bodied Nigerians saying we are ready to go and die. That is how bad the situation has gone to.
Shall we go to
so the people who come here to carry people away, in some...
You don't carry them away. They go
Okay, thank you for really.
They go
like Colin was saying, that while we were in secondary school, T.N.O. Kwakopon from Ghana was our teacher. P.S. Samuel, a white. Biology, had a lot of biology textbooks that he wrote. Was a secondary school teacher at Oliver. Indians, plenty of them. But now, you forget all of these things because the values here have gone. And for a person to study, even social studies, and go to America to work, earns hugely, I mean, earns more than a professor earns here as a first degree holder, if you can get a job in the US. So, do you want to now stay here and wait? Talk about psychiatrists, they need them there, so they are taking them away. Until you add value to what they do.
Time is against us. Life pension for head of service of the Federation and permanent secretaries trying to offset contributory pension scheme. So I'm coming to you. You recall the 2004 reforms, Pension Reform Act, that started by OPG. And but there's this journey. The journey started, like I said, 2015. It was the tail end of Goodluck Jonathan's administration. That the head of service of the Federation and the permanent secretaries are saying they are no longer political office holders, or they are political office holders no longer citizens.
See, I don't know. You see what that bothers me? Why did it take this long for them to realize that?
It started in 2015.
Yeah. Why did it take a long time for them to be able to actualize it now? Now, at a point in time when this proclamation was being made, a lot of people went out of service. Exodus of people who said they were not ready for this contribution pension thing. Simply because we know what Nigerian system is like. You are still earning your pension from government, it's not regular. It's not coming when it should come. Now you want to put it in the hands of certain people who are businessmen looking for money. A lot of people say no. I know somebody who said for just about 10 years, I said, I'm no longer saying I'm getting out. I don't want to face this contributory pension thing. And so I think a lot of them have seen what contributory pension is like now. And so they are now agitated that if you go to this system, you might go the long way of this mental illness people. And so they don't want to go into it. It's frustrating. But for them to be able to do this now, I think they are turning back the hands of the clock. And for them to do that, I think legally they have to
Okay.
For me now, it is still illegal as far as I'm concerned.
It's decided by the president.
Yes.
Who signed it?
Yes, if the president
As
signed
a law or
as a law, putting them out,
No,
putting
if that
the head
is
of
the
state
case,
and the secretary,
if that is the case,
out of the pension.
if that is the case, you have to go back to the law that's established there. If you don't go back to that, what you are signing is still illegal.
Well,
So I know you want to react.
and you see, it's very unfortunate. It's what we normally do here. Policy somersaulting. We keep on somersaulting every now and then. Was it necessary? Some people will come with ideas and then will bribe the leadership of the whatever, and then they will write a very beautiful paper to the head of state or governor, and then they will, because of what is in it for them. They did not do it for the purpose of the generality. As Sonia has just said, even when government is finding it difficult to do certain things by way of money payment, how do you expect a private businessman whose fundamental interest is not the interest of is money, it's profit? So this is how far we have gotten to. There was nothing wrong in just keeping with the status quo, pensioners receiving your gratuity, a little bit of it, your pension. That would be normal. I know of people who have left the office and have not had one kobo. Years now. And so the running of the home becomes an individual rather than a woman being able to assist her husband when he cannot collect. The husband is a retiree, the wife is a retiree. The wife is not earning anything. It's only you depend on the pension. I am one example. I take myself as an example. You have a retired wife who cannot bring in anything for the next 1 year, 2 years, nothing will come. Then you expect, and I'm a retiree, so why would I not be struggling? The struggle continues. Aluta continue.
Let me provide a bit of insight. And I want to quote the former Attorney General Minister of Justice, Adoke, when he wrote on March 16, 2015. And according to him, he said Rule 0208110 of the Public Service Act stipulates the composite retirement age of all pensionable officers, which the head of service and private sectors are. Why conclude that the public appointees referred to in Section 6 of Section 2 of the pension law are those entitled to retirement benefits?
The point is that we
now saying that putting them out now is the law says is either you are 60 or 35, which one comes first. Now they are saying they are not, their political appointees are not.
Who made them political appointees?
The
Who
president.
made them?
They said
No, they're political appointees. But the point is, when do they pull out? When do they pull out of service? How are they entitled to pension? These are the pensionable thing. If you are not entitled to pension, then you are a political appointee. You take your money and go out.
Over the years,
But the moment you are entitled to pension, then you are under that pensionable thing.
Let me still provide this.
Okay.
Consequently, the position of the former AGF, that is Adoke, entails that even though the head of service and permanent secretaries consider themselves as political appointees, in quote this letter, they are bound by law to retire at the age of 60 or after having been in service for 35 years. And are therefore within the category of those whose retirement benefits should be under the regulation of PENCO. That's the Adoke.
That's the position of Adoke. And ordinarily, you see, that time, I was one of those people who actually advised organized labor in Osun here, especially the local government organization, that they should resist it. And to show that I was sure, I left in 2012, not because I had spent 30 years, but I knew what was going to happen to them. That, look, these people we have handled responsibilities to cannot be truthful about it. You are saying you are deducting 7.5% from my pay. You are supposed to add from your end. You are not adding your own. The ones you have deducted from me is not going to their pension administrators. For lo and behold, your state is not yet doing contributory pension. This is Oshu. Look at the distance. That's so close by. From Iwo, you can walk to your state.
Yes.
So, and they are not practicing it, which means they are not part of that issue now. Whereas some people have retired for 3-4 years, they have not earned a kobo after earning their last pay on level 17. If somebody is on level 17, collected your last pay in March, and up till these 3-4 years after, you have not received 1 penny of your income, because they are saying they are still picking people in bids. Truth of it all is that when we now say because of the years of service and the rest of them, let's look at it this way. In civil service, the peak you can get to is to become the head of service.
That's it.
Yes.
And
Just say, let's say permanent secretary.
no,
I know, head of service.
This
You have how many
for a
people
civil
get there?
servant
How
is
many
to become
people
the
get there?
number one.
How many people
So
get there?
what I'm trying to say, in essence, is that you have spent a long time of your public service life high up there, and some politicians for 4 years, that's the morality of it, for 4 years will come and they will take time till they die. As governor, we'll have a house in Abuja, a house and buy for a new car for him every 3 years, and we allow that to pass. So if you are looking at it as if head of service, you want to pamper them, hello, they are talking about 35 years of their adult life in a service. So if those, look at it this way, is the military part of contributory pension?
Before you get to that place, I'm
Just a word. You see, we here
that's
in
the vision of
Nigeria.
Why did they allow those ones to put
that's
out?
the position of Malami. But I want to read the position of Malami. He said he countered the advocacy and said the previous legal opinion by Adoke in an April 2019 legal opinion, where he declared that the head of service and private secretaries are not employees but appointees of the president, and that they should not be subject to the contributory scheme as stipulated in pension gratuities. He now said in Malami's letter, he referred to Section 3 of the Pension Reform Act, which established the contribution scheme, which covers the payment of retirement benefits for public servants of both federal, state, and local government, as well as in AGF. However, Malami argued that contribution pension scheme did not have universal coverage to its remit, as the same did not cover judicial officers under Section 291 of the National Constitution, members of the armed forces, intelligence and secret services.
He is a lawyer, so lawyers will always find
I think what we should do
ground.
here, what we should do here is to now go back. You have to point out that these things have not covered these people. Let this thing cover them, because according to the law there, they should have been covered.
They are not covered.
They are not covered.
They go back. No, those people with you, they were part of it.
Yes.
They were supposed to be part of
So
it.
if he wants to
will
argue
from it.
if he wants to argue positively, he should say, okay, let those people be covered now. If they are covered now, then we have no argument. But if they are not covered, it means everybody has the right to pull out, even if you have been in it.
You see, we are a very terrible people in life. Very unfortunate. When did civil service end at directorate level? And public servant is looking to become permanent secretary, head of service. When Babangida wanted to try it out, he needed to change the nomenclature. He didn't call them permanent secretaries. Yeah. They became director general. And then when your minister or commissioner is going, you go, yes. But it is a question of these ones wanting to eat their cake and have it. Very, very unfortunate. Again, it is a question of what is in it for me. The permanent secretaries and their heads of services and what have you have seen that they are trying to change the goalpost in the middle of the game. And this is very wrong. And that's the Nigerian experience. Very unfortunate. You have stayed there right here in Osun. I know that since 2000, some people have been permanent secretaries from 2012. When this question of go and write exams, those of us who were going to retire, they said, don't Unfortunately, it was Mr. Kiwisi who said so. Don't allow them to write exams. Because some of us could have been permanent secretaries before they left office. Now you have somebody in this current dispensation who has been permanent secretary from 2010, yes, 2012. This is 11 years.
But it's not the case at the federal level.
No, I'm just...
Because at the federal level, you can only serve as PS or directors for 8 years. After 8 years...
No, it was something that it used to be like that. But generally. But they changed it in due course. That it is tenured office.
Tenured. No, either you are 60 or not 60.
Yes,
maybe you are 8 years as PS.
8 years.
At the federal level or not director
in
level.
that case, you can understand the federal officers' case because they have been made to be tenured. The appointment have been made to be tenured. You spend just like your president or your whatever. The minister goes and you go. Yes. To that extent, you can discuss. But this is a question of how do I put it? The system is unfortunately turning the civil service into something else. They are turning it upside down. A civil servant, the permanent secretary, the level to which he would submit his what do you call it? What do you call these things that they write? Civil servants, memos and things like that. You are turning them into politicians, and so they must. It was a civil servant, as this now, does not have to look at it from a genuine service point of view.
Okay,
it must be done from.
I want to add this. So you have a last take. Section 318 of the Indian Constitution categorizes public service to cover presidential politics. And now they are
civil service.
Yes.
No. Those are presidential appointees are
They're
public
categories.
servants. They are not civil servants.
See, there are even
They are
categories.
public servants.
But let me tell you one thing. See,
why I'm putting this is that the head of service and permanent are claiming now that they are appointees of the president, but
just like
the civil service law covers them.
Just like in the state. Now the point is this. Now can you extend the service of any director? You're a director now, you're there, and then you want to retire tomorrow, and then the government says no, you cannot go. Stay till the next 6 months. It has not been happening. But go to the permanent secretaries, go to the head of service. They can go ahead and extend their tenure to stay over and above what they have stayed. So that's why they are claiming that they are appointees. Okay? And they're not covered by this law of 35 years old. But they are covered. They are covered because at the expiration of that period, of either 35 years or 65, they want to resign. They want to go. Because they know that's the limit where they can go. Or somebody says, no, you cannot.
In the days of the boss of this world, the real permanent secretaries, you knew that you separated governance from the service.
There's something we are not actually looking at in a minute. You see, in the old order, that was why they did not allow your group to write exams. If you had left with a permanent secretary, you earn your pay for life.
Yeah.
For life. I don't think there is any permanent secretary retired between 2013 and now that earns more than 70,000. Quote me. On contributory pension. Whereas some 2 months before it was earning like 400,000. And in the old order, the old scheme you left with in 2012, you will earn that 400 for life. So invariably, these people are now saying, look, why must we now be part of that? That's all those things that are supposed to come to us, you have pegged it.
Because the permanent secretary level is earning 890,000 and will earn for life.
That's what they are supposed to earn for life.
And the president have considered.
But if it's contributory pension, they can't earn more than.
Shall we go to the third topic?
Let's go.
Time is a great stuff. Something I'm starting from you. 500 senior doctors, consultants,
Leaving.
outside the country.
I've left.
Yes. We
are not talking about the younger ones now.
No, we started. Why not? The consultant, what is his pay in Naira and Kobo? What is his pay going to be when he gets abroad? Mark to the consultants. When they see you, all they need from you is to be able to do 1 or 2 examinations. You passed it, they know you are a material. The consultant who has put in some 15 years, consultant who has put in, if you were seriously in the university system, some of them are professors. So, the man, at my age, the only thing is that I have retired and my profession doesn't allow for that. If I were a professor or a medical person,
Consultant.
I can go. Yes, I'm in my 70s, I can go. What am I earning in this country today? I struggle, and I'm not saying I alone. Everybody who is a pensioner struggles. You are not supposed to struggle that way. In those days, the pension is supposed to feed you and your wife. Of course, it is assumed that by that age, 60, 65, thereabout, your children have already passed out of university. And so they will not be a liability. But today, some of them are liabilities to us when they cannot job, cannot work. So people will continue to live. The brain drain will continue to drain until Nigeria sits up and says, people, enough. Let us face our own country.
And this was a disclosure by
the people.
The Medical and Dental Association of Nigeria, led by Dr. Okanjola, and the man is envisaging a medical system, I'm quoting now, a medical system without consultants.
Well, it's unfortunate. Medical system without consultants is telling you there is a limit to which they can give medical education to upcoming medical practitioners. MBBS is just the beginning for a doctor. You still have to do your residency, but consultants are supposed to supervise you. Yeah. And these are the people that are living. But I tell you, the consultant, one, looks at the enabling environment, two, looks at the insecurity in the land and how secure where he's going will be. Three, job security where he's going is assured and is not going to be victim of a government decision that will just curtail your activities. Who wouldn't want that?
And then let me add facilities.
All the facilities they need are there. And so you make exploits over there in your line of profession and you get remunerated very, very well. And you want to stay here, loyalty to country, when those leading the country are not loyal to it. You see, that's the question. You must practice what you preach. If you cannot practice it, you want as consultants to, let me tell you, all this brain drain we are talking about, majority of our rich leaders who go to London, to Paris and all the rest to get treatment are being treated by Africans in those places, majorly.
So I want to last
because the facilities are there.
The Professor Kajola also spoke about how the solve issues between the health workers and the government. And one of those is that increase the age of consent from 60 to 70.
In fact, that's not even the issue as far as concerned.
Yeah,
that's what he said. That's what he said. But let me just tell you one thing. For example, if you go abroad, I don't know whether it happens now. If you go abroad, for example, London or America, and you go for a treatment somewhere, that doctor may likely, the consultant may likely tell you, you are from where? You say you are from Nigeria. Do you know Professor So-so, your country? You have no. Then go back to him. It's capable of doing this we are asking you to do here. But forgetting that professor who is there, that consultant who is there, those are the medical facilities to do what he has to do. And when you find yourself in that kind of situation, you look at yourself as being moribund. You are stranded. You are disenfranchised. And you now feel, what am I doing here, really? And then you want to move it to climate that. This reward system here is poor.
Small as elastic.
Yes, the reward system is poor, very, very poor. And then we continue to run a system that has failed us over the years. We are 62 now. We have run a kind of system that has failed us and continues to fail us. It looks like entirety. It is only a madman who will continue to be doing what doesn't profit him. So we must realize that we are not mad people in Nigeria.
You're mad people in Nigeria.
we must set in motion. We must be able to get things right. We have gotten it wrong for 62 years.
For too long.
It is too long.
Time is against us. Larry.
Thanks for having us. We pray for a sane Nigeria where insanity will be a thing of the past.
I just thank God I'm still sane. I just thank God. Because a lot of the same people are on the roads now. Even driving, doing a lot of things. I don't know. Thank God.
I would say people must learn to keep their sanity. The country frustrates, but don't get frustrated. Keep your sanity.
Keep your sanity. Until tomorrow when we hope to be back in this room. My name is Olaga Olanipekum. On behalf of the executive producer, I want to say thank you, our veterans, and bye-bye.